Hello and welcome to this episode of the CHA Extracurricular Podcast. We're recording on Wednesday, October 26th. I'm your host, Chris Keller, and I'm really excited today to have Marley Kirby as our guest in the studio. Marley, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. It's exciting for you to be here. Before we jump into the interview, I want to share a few updates. So, first off, we've got to just continue to congratulate those middle school girls. They are the regional champs for volleyball this year. Well done out there. Varsity volleyball, they had an awesome season as well. Congratulations to you all. And for the cross-country team, state champs. Is that right, Marley?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. I was able to get in touch with your statistician, Gil Schmidt, and he wrangled up some numbers for me here. So at the state meet, we had for the middle school girls, Carly Young in first place, Skylar Crabule in third place, our very own Marley Kirby in fourth place, Avery Gallimore in fifth place, and in 13th place, Julia White. Excellent showing for you girls. Good job. On the boys' middle school side, we had Lucas King in third place, Connor King in fifth place, and in sixth place, Ethan Furrow. All right. Well, I know we're recording on Wednesday, so we're excited for tomorrow, our bowling camp out. I'm looking forward to that. Marley, what's your best bowling score ever?
Well, actually, I haven't played bowling a lot, so.
Yeah?
But I know I've gotten a few strikes in my life.
All right. There we go. Well, I know Bryce Montgomery and we have a little competition going here. I'm excited to see how that goes down because if I win, I get to see some 7th graders do the gritty in chapel.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Doesn't that sound like an exciting time?
Yes.
However, we won't talk about what happens if I lose that arrangement we have there.
All right.
Something about outside time or something. I don't remember. Anyway, we'll release this episode Monday, which will be the 31st of October. That week, early on, it's pretty calm sports-wise. We're kind of in between seasons here at CHA, getting ready for that transfer into basketball. So practices are starting up. On Thursday, November the 3rd, we do have a middle school and varsity esports match. And then on Friday, November 4th, we have the Fall Athletics Awards ceremony at 6 o'clock. And in the future, Marley, you said what, about 3 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in about 3 weeks, the cross-country team will be going to the NACA Nationals cross-country meet. Now, that's exciting.
It is.
Yes. So we'll get to the cross-country stuff, but a few kind of warm-up questions to get this interview started. You ready, Marley?
Yes, sir.
All right. So when did you start coming to CHA?
Well, I actually started coming last year.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. All right. So do you still feel fresh, or do you feel like you've been here like forever?
I feel like I've been here forever.
Well, we're glad you feel that way. That's awesome. How about, so only like a year or so to talk about, but do you have any favorite CHA memories?
Well, I do okay, so last year we just went outside a lot. I liked that.
Yes.
That was nice.
Yes. The outside time is always a favorite, for sure. Well, so that would kind of be, that leads perfectly into the next section. So what are a few things you enjoy about CHA? So outside time.
I like chapel and she brews, and I do like she brews a lot.
And of course you like podcasting too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another one we can add to the list. Okay, folks, I have to say, so I sent out like this form for students to fill out to see who was interested in being interviewed on this podcast. And one of the questions I put in there, I basically said, tell me what questions you would want me to ask you in an interview. And here's a secret. That's because that makes my job way easier if I already know what questions I should ask you. And I have to say, Marley here, she knocked it out of the park. She sent me back a bunch of awesome questions, and I was like, yep, Marley is the next person we're going to interview. So, just saying, if you're out there and you want to be interviewed, give me a list of questions, and we'll make this happen. So, without further ado, Marley, part of this process is has to do with your interest in journalism, and you said maybe interviewing people and things like that. So tell us a little bit about that academic interest you have.
Well, in my family, like I said, there's been a lot of writers and journalists and all those things, and I just like the feeling of getting to know more about people, and I like interviewing people, and I also like to write a lot and reading, and it's just fun.
Yeah, and I know we've already talked about this, and I hope it doesn't I hope you're proud of this. But Marley's a pretty avid reader, folks. How many books did you say you've read so far this year?
314? Did I say 314?
That sounds about more than I can count, folks. 314. That's awesome. You are going to be so ready for journalism and interviewing if you are such a voracious reader. That's awesome. So, next up, what about, now you're here partially because of your involvement with cross country as well. So what made you decide to join the cross country team?
Well, last year I was on cross country just because, well, I wanted to be on track, but then that was in a few seasons, and I was like, well, let's get something to do. So I joined cross country. There was not a full team last year, sadly, but then this year I did join late, but they needed about one more girl for the cross country team, and coach reached out to me, and he was just like, hey, Marley, we would love it if you could just join. So I made that decision and I joined.
Yes. Well, thank you for doing that. That's awesome. And it's just been so great to see you guys have success. And you've been a part of that, too. It's not like you were just another person out there. I mean, you placed in the state meet. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
What would you say are some of the important qualities of a teammate?
Well, I feel like you shouldn't be too prideful. You need to at least, you should encourage other teammates. But also don't be down on yourself. Like if you didn't get a good time or you didn't beat your time before, I would just say, it's okay. We'll practice more. Just don't be down on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it's fair to say there's kind of a balance, because you want to do well and expect a lot of yourself, but like you said, you don't want to just be down, because then you're not going to perform well either. Yeah. So that's kind of a tough balance to find. Do you think you have that balance?
I hope so.
You hope so?
Yes.
Okay. That's fair. How would you want your teammates to see you? Like, in other words, what sort of teammate do you hope you are?
I hope I'm the teammate who's encouraging, like I said, and I kind of want to be like a leader, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I've been on the team for a while, and there's some new people, and I just want to help them with it.
Yes, I think encouragement is a great way to show yourself a leader as well. So great. That's awesome. How about, I love this question. Once again, Marley wrote these up. I can't even take the credit for this, but how do you hope that you influence not only your teammates, but folks involved in KIT, Nights in Training, or just people who might be interested in cross country in general?
Well, I want to try to be positive, and for the littler kids, I want to be a good influence by being positive. I want to help them, and I want to teach them about cross country. And for people who want to join cross country, I would just say, hey, you can do it. Anybody can do cross country if they can have legs.
There you go. There you go. How about when you're running, and you're performing in this sport, cross country, how are you able to show your love for God through cross country?
Well, I feel like, one, I'm showing my love through God by doing what I'm able to do, what He gave me to do, and it's a talent. And also, when I'm at meets, our team wants to express our love for God. We don't want to be discouraging or pushing people or just saying bad things. We want to express God in that way.
Yeah, I love that answer. That's great. I mean, even when we're competing, we want to win, but we have to remember that we still represent God, even if it's in the middle of a competition, right? And that can be hard to separate those things sometimes.
Yes.
Awesome answer there. Okay, folks, Marley hobbled in here on some crutches, so this feels a little bit silly asking this, but I'm going to go for it anyway. So, Marley, have you had any injuries?
Well, I wrote this question before I didn't have my
Oh
foot
my
like
goodness.
this. So, during the state meet, about 1.4 miles in, it like just cracked or did something weird. It's either sprained or fractured. It's only my ankle. And about last season, well, no, that was soccer season. Well, my knee is kind of messed up too. I wear a brace on it, but yeah.
Injuries are tough.
They are. Crutches,
yeah.
I've tripped a few times.
Well, hopefully you won't get too much practice on those crutches. Hopefully you'll recover quickly.
I hope so.
And it's always tough. You want to perform and you want to compete, but got to be careful with injuries too, and knowing how far to push and when to let off, right? Mm-hmm. How about, this is a good one for me. I would struggle joining a cross country team, and this question totally references that. So how do you stay motivated when you have a day or a time where you just don't feel like running?
This is one of my favorite questions. So I will just say, hey, it's not that long. You're not going to be running for an hour or two. And like during meets, it's only about 14 minutes if you have like a perfect time or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, it's about 15 or 16. I just say it's only 15 minutes of your life, like 15 minutes of 80 years. You're going to be fine.
Right.
Just pass the person in front of you.
Like, you can handle this for 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, that's good. That's good. How about when you have a big meet coming up, or just a meet in general, do you get pretty nervous?
Well, sometimes I do if it's only girls like running it. If it's not girls and guys combined, I get kind of nervous.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do to try and calm yourself down, to relax your nerves a little bit?
Well, kind of referencing to the last question, I just say it's only for like a few minutes and stuff. But also, I like to think of what I'm going to do after the race.
Oh, yeah.
Like ice cream. I'll get to go to sleep later. I'll get to watch TV.
Yes.
Hey, I might even watch SpongeBob. You never know.
That's right. So shout out to my own high school days. I remember baseball was the sport that I played, and I was a catcher. So they would have like mound meetings. The coach would come out to like calm down a pitcher who was like getting a little wild or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I specifically remember one game where the coach called a timeout. And he came out to the mound, and me and the pitcher are both standing there, like, waiting for some profound piece of, like, baseball wisdom. And he goes, "Where are we going to eat after the game tonight?" And, like, just that idea of distracting yourself. Like, why are you so hung up on this? Like, relax, calm down. You're going to do better if you just take a breath and realize that there's more that's going to happen even after the match or the game is over, right?
Yes.
All right. How about a little bit about that NACA Nationals race coming up?
Well, it's in Tennessee. It's in about 3 weeks. It takes 5 hours to get up there. There's going to be, we don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be about 15 teams going there.
Wow.
And our Coach Gallimore, and Coach King, it was, shout out to them. There's some great coaches. And they're like, girls, if you keep practicing, you're going to have a really good chance of like getting in the top 3. So I hope that happens.
Well, I'm excited for you guys, and I know that 5-hour trip is going to be worth it. You guys are going to, I know you'll work hard, but I know you'll have fun too. Mm-hmm. And it's only about 14 minutes, right, Marley?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Hey, Marley, thank you so much for coming in to this interview. It was a lot of fun.
It was. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being here for this episode of the Extracurricular Podcast. Marley and I were just counting. This is episode number 8. So thanks for hanging in there with us. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Marley, for being willing to come on the show and talk with us today. What an exciting cross-country season you guys have had so far, and we're excited for that next meet. Marley, I look forward to having you on the podcast again in the future.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, remember, you can find the podcast on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe. You can also listen and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. With that, may we be united by faith. Go Knights.